Coach, got a couple questions. I want to ask you about Memphis, but also want to see if there's any update on Kanye at
No
all.
update. Same status.
What stands out to you about this Memphis team?
Just their talent. They've got really, really good players, and I mean, it starts with Haggerty out front. He's having a All-American kind of year. Big guard that gets downhill anytime he wants, but now his increased three-point percentage, makes people pull their hair out in terms of how you're going to try to defend him. But I said it starts with him, it doesn't end with him, and then his counterparts out there, Rogers and Hunter, are equally really, really good, players in their own right, and those three that start together, they all do it individually in a different way, but they're very, very talented players, and it just puts a lot of pressure, on you defensively. And then, they got their glue guy, Jordan, and then Dane Danger, who is super, super skilled, and can shoot mid ranges, can face you up, drive it, can score on the basket, is an excellent passer. So they've just, they've got really, really good talent, and they obviously have come together. They've had some huge wins, with UConn and Michigan State, and the recent road trip to go to Clemson and Virginia, back to back, and be able to beat that kind of opponent on their home floor. That says a lot about where they're at this year.
It's been a minute since we talked about recruiting, and I don't think since he signed after the normal guys did on that first day, I don't think we ever asked you about T. Bartlett and just what he brings to the table and kind of a different style of center in today's game. But just wanted to get your thoughts on him.
Yeah, we're excited about T. Bartlett and his family, joining our basketball family, and the obvious is it starts with just his frame and how big he is. I mean, he's a big, strong kid that can really move for his size. Walking in the door. You mentioned he's a little more old school in terms of the five position, but I would agree somewhat to that. But I think one of the best thing he does right now is pass the basketball. Like, he's a excellent passer. He really sees the floor. You can play offense through him at times because of his ability to, just make the defense choose. You play him solo, he can back you down and score it. If you want to run people at him and double him, he's got vision and good touch, and just like I said, he's a really good passer, and he's just got a lot to work with. I mean, he's got pretty good touch. He can stretch the D. The biggest thing is just for him, and that's what we talked about, is how good a shape can he get himself in. Not don't wait till you arrive. Work on it now, and that'll get you ahead of the game a little bit. But we're excited that he's with us.
Yeah, you talked in the preseason about constructing this roster in a way where you can ease some of the pressure off of Josh Hubbard, so it doesn't have to be, Superman, I guess, every single night. And he's had a couple games this season already where he hasn't particularly shot the ball, at his best. But I think in those instances, you guys have still won by like 20 plus in each game. And so are you starting to see all that kind of come together right now in the way you imagined?
Yeah, like you said, that definitely was a part of our process to try to get more guys that could score the ball, and using your words, to alleviate, some stress on Josh, and more importantly, just to make us more of a well-rounded, basketball team, and not put so much pressure on us defensively of having to get so many stops, and just rely on that so much for us to win games. And so I think these guys that are new to the program have done what we've wanted them to do. We always want more. We want certain guys to shoot better, or more, or whatever the case is individually. But I can't speak for Josh, but we're like you said, he's not going to be Superman every night. As much as we and our fans would want him to do, he's human. as well, and sometimes the ball doesn't go in the hole. But more importantly, the other side note to that is his defense has just gotten so much better. I mean, if you really hone in on him on the ball, he's much more in a fighting stance, and his energy level on the ball is better. His attention to detail off the ball has gotten better. So we're excited about that growth.
We'll go to Jacob to coach's right.
Coach, you have a different kind of big man this year with Michael and Keyshawn opposed to Jimmy and Tohu last year. How do you adjust to that in terms of how you play?
Yeah, we knew that, early in, this building this team, in June when we got together, that was going to be the case. And, we tried to adjust offensively and defensively because of that, to try to get the most out of the personnel that we have. Offensively, we may not throw it inside quite as much as we've done in the past, but because both Mike and Keyshawn, can play on the perimeter and do some things out there that maybe the guys we've had in the past can't. We're playing a little more 5-out at times, and getting the ball, especially in Murph's hands, and letting him be a decision maker. And then defensively, we have more flexibility in our ball screen coverage because of the way Mike and Keyshawn move defensively. Last year we played quite a bit of a passive coverage, and this year we've mixed it up depending on who we're playing. But like everything, it's a work in progress, but it's just a different style.
We'll go down the front here to the left with Benjamin and then Danny B.
And I'm sure it's partially a byproduct of Kanye being out, but we've seen some run from some of the younger guards like Martavius Russell and Delquan Warren, even in outside of the end of blowout games. So what have you seen from them and their time on the floor so far?
Yeah, Delquan, is someone that we've been impressed with since he's arrived. He's just about what we're about. He's gets after it every day. He's thirsting for knowledge. He loves to be coached. He really defends. He's getting better on the offensive end of, that's a transition. He's been the best player on, his teams more often than not growing up, and a lot of kids have to go through that. And now he's not the leading scorer. And so his offensive mindset has to be tweaked a little bit, and and that's hard because they played a certain way for so long. And now maybe, this shot is not a great shot for him right now in his career. And but on the other end, we trust him defensively, and he's earned the minutes that he's getting. And with MJ, he's like a lot of players, he wants to play. And, we talk in our locker room about that all the time, is more often than not around here, you get opportunities and you just got to be prepared for them. And then when it happens, make the most of it and put yourself in position to get more minutes. And that's what MJ's done. He's been practicing well. We felt like he needed a shot, and we were going to, my mind made up, we were going to play him in the guts of the game against Central Michigan. And I thought he responded very well. He played well. He looked comfortable out there. He was in the right spots. He didn't make the 1-3 tried in the corner. He made one later, but they were good shots for him. And, he's got lots of practices. He's got some game experience, and he's been fighting in practice. And we'll see going forward, how it unfolds.